Dam Lake. Welcome to the Beaver Dam Lake Protection and Rehabilitation District Board meeting on February 3rd. This is a special session. We slate to go 7 o'clock. We should be over maybe no more than 15 or 20 minutes. Welcome. Tonight's meeting is an open meeting, of course, New York State Public Open Meeting Law. We're live on Zoom for Reserve 4 and the Beaver Dam Community Building at 557 Shore Drive. This meeting is being recorded as always to be posted on the Orange County DPW website through the BDL YouTube account. For quorum purposes, we do have at least four members here, so we are good with quorum. Roll call. I'm the chair, Christopher Dunn.
Lawrence Weinberg, vice chair.
Jason Udis, secretary.
Chrissy Bulger, New Windsor.
Beautiful. Fred Whitman is not here. He was nominated last meeting.
Kevin Boyle, Bloomy Room.
All right, and we have one seat vacant, so we have 6 possible seated on the board, and tonight that makes 5. Special guest is Wally Belos, who has had a illustrious history with the board. Here for moral support and what other support? No, just moral support. Thank you. All right, with that, stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight's agenda is quite short. Did all board members get a chance to see it and look at it, go through it? As we mentioned, it is quite brief. It's mostly for a singular purpose, and we'll get into that momentarily. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's proposed agenda?
Aye.
Is there a second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the motion has been adopted. Last board meeting was just a little over 2 weeks ago, January 22nd. The lake drawdown is officially over. We have been filling since 1 p.m. on the 31st. So an email went out on the 29th to request that the DPW come out and close the MLO, the mid-level sluice gate, and that had been done on that day, Friday the 31st at 1 p.m. As the lake is now still down, please use this opportunity to take it upon yourself, weather permitting. It's been a challenge, we know, with the ice. To get leaves when you can, pull out branches if you can, if it's within your grasp, take them out. And of course, trash. So we had a nice showing a few days ago, some thank yous. We were down at Reserve 5. There was a small group of folks, a very dedicated group of folks. So thank you to Laura, Sarah, Christine, Jim, Joe, Larry, my son Finnegan. And of course, New Windsor Town Supervisor Stephen Bedetti. He showed up. He actually checked a few days ahead of time to make sure that we were still doing it at Reserve 5, which we're speaking about is the cleanup that we've been wanting to do for well over 6 months, if not much longer. It had been brought to the board's attention several times that there was a lack of boat access to get to the lake because that portion of the lake is so shallow. Just on a good day, with the cattails growing, it acts as a substrate kind of holder, and there's just been so much leaves and muck that we're trying to peel some of that back. But having the drawdown be quite successful and go out so far in that area, you can walk out easily 75, 80 yards at the moment, and if there's no ice, it will be a dry bed. We were there just doing a lot of moving. We had about 12 cans get filled, and it was very nice of Mr. Bedetti himself to actually call sanitation and request to have them picked up on a special pickup. And I believe that if it's not picked up today, it should be picked up sometime this week. We mentioned 12 cans. Let's see. All right. DPW interface. The board has also been reaching out for some time, trying to work with schedules to get a one-on-one meeting. That has yet to be decided on. Both parties just haven't been able to get their schedules together to have a one-on-one. We've been trying since early December. All right. Safety. Once again, as we always mention, please report all district emergencies and town emergencies to 911, not the police, unless you're calling for a emergency issue, then you can certainly call the business line at either the, fire department have a business line? Thinking about
They do have a private line?
it, yeah. But just thinking out loud, Salisbury Mills, Fire Department ice rescue drills were performed this Sunday. Second, they went out to Reserve 8, and this is something that they commonly do monthly, pretty much, right?
Yeah,
Or maybe or
2 to 3 times.
two. So, okay, so in the winter time, they had done one in December, with a thinner ice situation, and then I just saw them, I could see them from my house just the other day, and, they have chainsaws. Yeah, I think I heard saws, they had a saw through the ice, the ice is pretty thick in a lot of sections. So, there's that. Any board member comments? I just jabbered out a lot.
No, I just reached out to the, usual contacts at Salisbury Mills Fire Department, so. We didn't have a huge amount of advance notice regarding this drill, so we did work to get an email out to the community as quickly as possible, but we had less than 24 hours notice, so. Normally, when we know, we'll give you as much notice in advance. This time, we just got a last minute notice. We still got it out there for folks to, alert them so that they're not worried that there's an actual real emergency.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so once again, BDL official board communications are always gonna come from email first. We do use Facebook. We mention this every single meeting. Just have to kind of keep putting it out there that the official manner is to join the email list. It's BDL at Gmail, BDL board, sorry, BDL board at gmail.com. And that's how you'll get the official interfacing with us, especially. And try to give us sometimes 3 days to answer, especially if it's a weekend. But a lot of times we answer a lot sooner than that. Just other communications on the second, like we said, an email went out to, so these are board communications with the community I'm speaking about. On the second, an email went out about the ice rescue drills, notifying the community about that. And then a few days earlier on the 27th, we had to announce this meeting. So we're going to get to the reason why we're here. The announcement of the special board meeting. What we need to do tonight is have a quick board resolution vote to accept the scope and the planned work by James Gorman, who is what is his actual, I need to speak.
James Gorman was the point of contact for Pond and Lake Connection, where's our lake management service company to do the treatments for herbicide and algicide.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what his exact title was, and I know he's
He's just a science
limnologist.
order.
Is he considered a limnologist?
No,
No,
more of a technician,
technician, understanding the applications for.
lake expert.
Got it. So what we're here to vote on is the scope of the planned work by that company, and what is known as, quote, the project by Stoll Holdings Incorporated, LLC, also known as the Pond and Lake Connection, as Walter just mentioned. The following vote will fulfill something that the Orange County government has requested the board to do in order to remain in alignment with New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. The overall New York State DEC requirement is that we as a board must vote to agree to the project plan that our lake treatment company has provided for us for the recreation season. DPW has completed the contract extension process for Stoll Holdings LLC. So one of the things that I just want to read just real quick, the amendment. So I placed this on the agenda. So when the county puts together a contract, and there's an extension period, it had to go through the extension period. This is the verbiage. The amendment modifies the agreement for the vendor services dated April 18, 2022, when the original contract went through, by and between Orange County, a municipal corporation, and the county a county of the state of New York, with principal offices at 255 Main Street, Goshen, New York. And Stoll Holding LLC, also known as Pond Lake Connection, a New York limited liability company with principal offices at 795 Route 148, Killingworth, Connecticut. Okay. Pursuant to Article 23 of the agreement, the parties agreed to the following modifications pursuant to the terms of the RFP attached to the incorporated Schedule A to the agreement. County hereby executes its sole option to extend the terms of the agreement for an additional 2-year period ending March 14, 2026. As such, the end date of March 14, 2024, stated in Article 2 of the amendment, is superseded and replaced with March 14th, 2026. Okay, the DPW has completed the contract extension processes, as I said. Just to give you a quick bit of information, the community knows this full well, because anytime we ever have a treatment, we always do a courtesy. It's not a requirement. We tell the community what chemicals are gonna go in the lake and for the purposes. So the three chemicals that go into the lake every single year, is Natique, which is a herbicide. Usually it's applied for, spongy, curly pondweed and, milfoil, Eurasian milfoil, and things like that, that block out the sunlight and cause extra problems, heat up, cause the cycle to continue of decay, and so we try to keep it down. It keeps the oxygen level low, so we want to keep our oxygen at least moving in the lake, so we don't have algae growth that's just out of control. Cutrine, which is an algicide, which is mostly used for various algae itself. There's different seasons of algae through the summer. We don't just see the same algae all summer long. So despite what it may look like, there's all different kinds of algae, and some of them blue-green algae, when it decays, gives off our what? What's it called?
Side.
Cyanobacteria, which is hazardous, and that would cause a beach closure. We had fortunate weather last year, so we didn't have to do that. Anyway, the last one is Clearcast, which is also an herbicide. It's mostly used for cattails and phragmites. So getting to the resolution that we have to pass, the plan or the project for 2025 is the same as it was in 2023 and 24. If I'm not, that seems accurate. Well, okay. Both seasons witnessed continued success in allowing the swim beach to remain open a great majority of the time. Over 70%, maybe a few more in 2023. It was the overall amount of days we were open versus days closed.
Yeah, but last year we were 100%.
And then in 2024, all 100% of 73 days in 2024, we were open. So the project is 4 algicide treatments and 2 herbicide treatments that have been budgeted for 2025 and spoken about through Pond and Lake Connection and this board. We're in constant communication. Walter's been heading up that for several years. And so with that,
And when we don't need to use the treatment, although we budget for it,
yes,
the
that's
funds are still there, but if
That's
we
a
don't
good point.
need it, based upon input from Wally and the rest of our team here, we won't overtreat the lake if not necessary, thus saving money and obviously not pouring more chemicals into the lake if not needed. So last year, we saved at least 1 treatment. I don't know if it was 2, but we didn't use all of the treatments.
correct. And I think, and we're also, our cutoff point is Labor Day. I think it's, or the first.
DEC will not allow you to treat after Labor Day unless you have really good reasons to do it.
Right. So, and we just had a dry season, and maybe the drought helped, the weather was certainly a good factor, but we definitely did I think a bang up job with monitoring it. All right, the chair would like a motion to accept the plan project for 2025.
Just want to clarify.
Yes.
The contract was not extended this year for a year. It was extended last year for 2 years.
For 2 years, correct. So upon 2024.
Correct. So right on the coattails, it was extended
Yes.
last year. And then the budget's been in place. We're gonna do the same type of treatments. Usually do the herbicide, usually do one in the spring, usually just to get it on, and the pesticide or as needed going forward. And communications will be put out prior to the treatments as we always have done in the past.
Thank you for that.
Understood you correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been, because I think one of the things about this is it's formality now, that I think that it was, the state wanted to, or the county wanted to make sure that they were doing right by the state and making sure that even though that we already do notify the district whenever we can about these things, I think they wanted us to see it in writing and have it in kind of
It's good to do.
hang on to it. So, okay, so I'd like to make the motion to accept the plan project for 2025 by the Pond and Lake Connection and all treatment plans therein. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the motion has been passed. The board type minutes will be forwarded to the DPW to be kept on file for the New York State DEC. Okay, that was the main focus of tonight's meeting. So like we said, this meeting is gonna be very short. But since we're here, Larry, are there any community events to speak of?
Yeah, so, Ryan Dalton, comedian, celebrity boxer. He's offered to do another, BDL comedy show. These are free of charge and open to all residents and escorted guests here at Reserve 4 Building, 557 Shore Drive. That's coming up this Friday, rapidly approaching seating, at 6:30 PM, show at 7 PM. We don't charge anything for these events. We do ask that you could, if possible, make donations for the professional comedians that volunteer their time and travel long distances with gas, etc. It's not a requirement, but we're really appreciative if you please get the word out there so that these folks don't show up and have 7 people in the room. And I mean, like, maybe we shouldn't have to do these events if nobody's coming. We've had some great turnouts, but right now in the middle of the winter time, it's quiet and not seeing a lot of response online. And I don't want us to have a big, great show and not be represented here
Sure.
in the community. So we also had put out for, as Chris had mentioned, some volunteer requests to help to clean up some debris in the reserves. Please bear in mind that, this is a community effort. Not all of us, need to use the reserves. I don't particularly have to go to reserve to access the lake, so when I'm volunteering my time for the community, I would love for us to get a little bit more buy-in, a little bit more participation from the folks throughout the community. So we did have a decent turnout for our last request. I know it was short notice again, but when you see something go out there and say, hey, can I get involved and volunteer maybe 1 or 2 hours just to come out, clean up the lake area, it benefits so many people, and we really would appreciate as much buy-in as we can get with that. So I don't have a ton of other events planned right now because it is the dead of winter and it's really quiet time. But we will kickstart, and we have a few other things we're brewing on another painting event, which was extremely successful last time. We've had more requests for jewelry making, which is another great event. We don't charge money for these events, but we do accept donations so that we can continue to provide this as a courtesy for the rest of the community. So not much else to report on.
All right, thank you, Larry. Anyone else? All right, we're gonna move on to the resident forum. Any resident has the right to speak for 3 minutes if they like, if they have something they need to say. You have 3 minutes, board recognition. We actually have 2 people in the residents in the house tonight. Hi.
Hey.
Is there anything that you came here for tonight, or did
No,
you just wanted to?
I joined the mailing list,
Excellent.
as of this morning.
Oh, excellent. Okay,
Yes,
good.
I just wanted to,
All right.
show up and say hello. and-
Great.
Okay, I didn't see a pitchfork in your hand.
Oh,
Okay, good. All
It's
right.
like a special meeting to
Yeah.
pass that.
Yeah, this is like a short meeting that it got dropped on us right
So you
after the
picked a good
last.
night to come is what we're telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an hour and 10-minute meeting.
And there is 1 board seat available, by the way.
Yeah, right.
What time is it?
This one.
New Windsor.
New Windsor. Yeah, it's interesting here. That being said, online, is there anybody that would like to say, if they had anything, if you wanted to send it in the message, just to give us a heads up that you do have something, otherwise we're gonna go ahead. Because there is a short letter I just want to read from a resident, just to put it out there. I don't think we need to really comment on it much tonight or discuss it. Just wanted to put it out there because I was asked by this resident to read this tonight, and it's just a simple thing. So can I do that?
Have at it.
All right. So Stephanie L., who's a resident, she lives in the district, very close to Reserve 6. She had stated, and I'm paraphrasing a little spot. I feel that a lot of people don't utilize, this is her statement. I feel that a lot of people don't utilize the reserve because, Reserve 6 speaking of, because there is no good way of getting smaller vessels like kayaks in and out of the water and then getting the person in and out. The grass goes up to the lake, but it is a drop and often very muddy. You would basically have to climb into the lake first and then somehow climb into the kayak. There is definitely no safe way of getting a kid from this reserve. I am not sure what the solution is exactly. I know that there are many private wood docks that people have. Perhaps a small one could be built at Reserve 6 to pull the kayak paddleboard up against for a safer entrance and exit. We would love to be able to bring our kids out onto the water with a reserve so close to us that we could safely walk to. It seems silly to make our whole side of the lake have to go to the more public reserve on Lake Road. Thoughts, thanks again, Stephanie L. So I believe just, and I think I'd like to let this sit. I didn't want to start a whole conversation about this tonight. So if any board member obviously really wants to say something on it, certainly can. But what I would like to table this maybe for a future meeting, this idea, because I don't think this is the first time we've been asked about improvements for boat access. It's just that the only thing I can put out there is that anything that's built has to be budgeted. It's going to take most likely another year before it happens. There's a lot of cogs, a lot of things that have to happen. It's not just we have money laying around and we can go do it. It probably has to get contracted. It may have to get bidded. There's going to be permits because it's in the water. So it needs engineering plans. So as seemingly as it may seem something to be simple, it most likely is not. So
And the county attorney is going to weigh heavily from a liability perspective.
right, and we also just throw this out there too, when county attorney gets involved, we also get charged, not that that's a reason not to do it. But just want to give you a small taste of how much goes into and possibly why this hasn't been done prior. Reserve 8 is not so far away, there is a Reserve 7, just, I know it's not the most accessible, but
Reserve 6 also is our main tributary of water coming in, so that's also an area, maybe a reason why it isn't there already. because
So-
of all the water that's coming through that section.
so can I speak for the board and say this is something we can come back on, something to think about, something that will, okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so thank you, Stephanie. All right, are there any resident comments at all? Okay, so in board member comments, I would like to just start, just want to mention that the Beaver Dam Lake Resident Permit Program of policies for the use and operation of motor vehicles, trailers and boats has been submitted. So it was updated and passed last meeting, had an update. There was some language that needed to be changed. There was about 6 or 7 extra lines that were added to it for rules and regulation, or policies for how we're going to store boats on this lake, and also some other language. So it'll be published on the Orange County website as soon as they get it up. So it's been submitted to DPW, and it's actually with the commissioner right now, who just has to give me the final okay to send it to the webmaster. Okay. The last board member comment, I think I would like to read, I have to read a statement. I would like to read a statement that's been issued by the Deputy Commissioner of Orange County Department of Public Works. We are aware of the drainage at the dam spillway and have notified Orange County DPW of our observations. Orange County Public Works has visited the dam and has been in contact with the dam engineers. Currently, water is flowing through one of the dam's relief drains. Further evaluations are currently being coordinated and information will be provided once it becomes available. As required by the dam's emergency action plan, a dam advisory condition is being issued. So just as it may have wound up, the planets aligned or just caused Murphy's Law, at the few hours before the time of this meeting, situation arose, a resident noticed that there was water coming from the dam, and it seemed suspect considering we had just told you that the drawdown had concluded 4 days ago. Now, the one thing we could say is that the place that the water is coming from is not the sluice gate valve. It's not where it was coming down, coming out from the drawdown. So it is in a different part of the dam. And that, like I said, that's the statement from Orange County. This is not an emergency declaration. It is an advisory level posting that the county has just put out, as far as we know, on the Facebook social media. And I don't know if we can verify yet, if anybody at home or Walter's on his computer right now, if it's actually on the Orange County.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's on the Orange County website? Okay.
Listed as an update for immediate release.
Okay, so there you go. So immediate release that comes from the county government itself. So with that,
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Fast
Good night.
and furious. Have a great evening.